Over the past couple days, sometime, we made this variable system, and we can refer to variables in our animation file. And, well, they're not really variables in the sense of programming variables where you set them and manipulate them. They just pass information to the animation state machine that can be used. So if we go to the animation graph file, then we can say, hey, go to this state if we're charmed. For example. So one thing I want to do is I want to add 2 more variables for pushing and pulling. And these are already all Booleans, just like charmed, they're already all Booleans. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to say return true, comma, wrap Boolean state.entity.charms. Oops. And wrap Boolean is inline b bool constant value. So constant value is just this thing, this interpreter-like value. Let's call it b. That has data about what the type of the thing is and stuff, right? So we're going to say result constant value. So we're just doing that, right? That's all. So we're just going to do this. So charmed and pulling and pushing. Okay. I mean, that's all that is. So, oh, it's not on entity. Oh, because those are only on guy, right? Wait, it's not even. Oh, maybe we don't do this. Okay. I thought this was going to be easy because we already had Booleans, but we have Booleans for whether you can do these things. We don't have Booleans for whether they're actually happening. So let's not do that yet. Let's do the other thing that I was going to do. Because this was going to be a very minor thing anyway. Okay, so let's make sure this still works, though. Yeah. So he went into his special dancing animation. Okay. That's all good. So right now, the thing that I want to do is simplify or pass more control to the animation system when it comes to characters turning. So let me, I think they're here. So we have this system where, if we're in walking mode, Like there's gameplay states about what's happening. Like, are we inactive, active, walking, pushing, pulling? So that's why these weren't Booleans, because pushing and pulling are actually like this other gameplay state machine, right? Now the thing is, when we send a message, okay, so when we send a message to the animation graph system about walking, we have a whole bunch of these messages, right? About whether you're turning left or turning right or turning all the way around. There's 4 different messages about walking. Now, on the one hand, that means that we can, well, and we pick which message to play based on, you know, what these angles are, right? Like if we're trying to turn left a lot versus not and all these things. Okay, the thing is, first of all, that means that if people don't care about the angle, so for here we don't have transitions for all those angles, so we have to do all this stuff, and we're just going to the same state for all of these messages, right? So ideally, you would just have one and ignore the angle, right? So if we make the angle a variable that you could query, then you could make choices based on it or not. Right? And so in most of these cases, when you don't care, then we get rid of a lot of these extra lines, right? So that's what I want to do. Instead of doing all this stuff, the goal right now is to always just send go state walking. Maybe we'll shorten this to walk eventually. I don't know. And get rid of all this, and instead people are going to be able to query in this graph for an integer variable. We're going to round it to integer even though it's float. And it'll just be what is the difference between the angle that I'm trying to turn to and where I'm facing right now, right? Hopefully that all makes sense. Well, let's give that a try. So we want to go to here. And you know, this is 64-bit. Let's make this 32-bit since we're about to actually use it. So that's constant value. When we evaluate variable, which we were just looking at, we're going to call it target angle right now. And, well, we're just going to do E is state.entity, right? And d theta, I theta is just going to be the integer of that. And I believe this is already in degrees. Cast as 32, d theta I want to make sure it's between minus 179 and 180. So right? So we add 360, right? And we subtract, right? So that's all good. And then we say, instead of making a wrap, well, we'll do it. What do we call it? We call it value int, even though it's not really an int. Let's call it value integer. Because int is an actual type in our language that is not the type. Call it S32. Screw it. Screw it. We're getting very specific. Okay. I mean, let's just go all the way. Okay, so if you query target angle, then we say return true wrap S32 of I theta. Right? Okay. Now, let's actually, for a minute, let's make sure we start on a level that we actually want. Like, how about heroes 1-1? We've just got our guy. He can just walk around. So see, like, if I'm here and I'm turning around, we play active to walking 180, which is this animation where his like arms come out, right? But if I walk forward, we just go active to walking, walking to active. Now, if I walk backwards, we do a 180 again, right? Okay, so I'm about to break all of that right now. So, because we're going to do it a different way. So all of this stuff goes away, right? So I mean, really all this stuff goes away. And actually, what is this doing 180 thing? Uh-oh. Fly in the ointment. We might have to deal with this somehow. We might need more variables. So we had some kind of turning right situation that I added a long time ago. And I think that helped us not turn the wrong direction. Okay, so maybe that needs to be a thing that we add, but we're not going to do it yet. Okay. So all of this gets much simplified, which is actually what you want out of a core system. We'll delete these comments in a bit. We don't even need the d theta. We just send go state walking. So simple. That's what you want. You want your core to be simple and not weird. Okay. So what do we do now? Well, we run it and make sure we still walk around and don't play the turning animations. That's what I was going to do. What built-in libraries are we shipping? A whole lot. A whole lot. Okay. So now when I turn around, yep, we don't play the special turning animation. We just play the normal things. Okay, so that's fine. We've totally broken everything, it's fine. Okay. Let me look through here and clean out the 90 left and rights that don't do anything. These all are actually used. So I guess it was just in... It was just down here in Charmed that we weren't using them. Except even here we're using them. Actually, wait, no. So here, yeah, we're just turning all these messages into the same thing. Like this is just spam, so we get rid of all that. This is just spam. This is just spam. This is just spam. Yeah, I mean, these are just sort of filler to do coverage for all these messages, but it's just a sign that too many messages forces you to deal with things. Okay. So hopefully I didn't break the file. Nope. All right. So now so here, these messages no longer exist. And we're going to use an if statement. So we're going to say state active to walking 180 if theta target is greater than 120, right? And so now we have a problem that we don't parse integers yet. We'll start parsing these if statements, and then we'll be like, oh, dude, this is a problem, right? So let's watch that happen. All right, so error at line 16, invalid constant 120, invalid constant minus 120. So we got to do that. Am I planning on converting most to these messages to Go commands? It remains to be seen. We don't know. We're feeling our way through what's going to make it a good system. Okay, well, invalid constant. Okay, so first of all, let's make sure that we have some strings so that we can start looking at the data. Oh, expected a constant, but didn't find one. Okay. So, all right, so if C is equal to plus, or C is equal to char minus, or C is greater than or equal to 0, and C is less than or equal to char 9, right? Where's my string to integer routine? I know we have one. I know we have one. So not called to integer. String. Why is that in string? Oh, I guess I know. Okay. We don't want to use this because of that A to I dependency. That's a dependency on libc. We're going to use string to int. Okay, so if we're in here, we're going to say value success. So if we got success, we want to say return true wrap S32 of value, and remainder. It's not this remainder, but the remainder after we cut by spaces, right? Otherwise, we error unable to parse an integer constant. Whatever. Okay. Wrap S32 value. Okay, well, we parsed it. Now we just get unknown variable theta target every single damn time. I thought we put that. Okay. Oh, target angle. And I called it theta target. We could just call that angle. I don't know. Error variable of type S32 is not yet handled. Where is that? What is not yet handled? Oh. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. So okay. Comparisons for S32. Okay, if they're equal. If they're not equal, greater, less, greater, equal, less, equal. And now, folks, this is why writing interpreters is so easy. You just do things. You just writing wrapper glue code, man. Comparison. Well, didn't happen. So lots of stuff could be wrong. Our angle could be in radians, which I don't think it is. Oh, wait. First of all, we need to make sure that we're in state active because that's the only one we changed. Oh, it did it. It worked. It worked. Okay. Worked the first time. So let's, in order to cut down on spam, let's get rid of all this. Get rid of all this. We'll leave this here to remind us that we still have to do something there. We're going to call this walk. And let me make sure I'm updated, because when we're about to make massive changes. Okay. Hopefully the animator is animating and not. So we'll go to 180. And then we'll go oh, this was O.1 before, not O.2. If and this is right. Okay, so state active. Oh, let's slow us down. So the 180 still works. Nope, he went 180. It's not good. He's going 180 every time. So it didn't work the first time. We have a problem. What is the worst code I've ever seen? Direct show from Microsoft. I don't know. There's lots of bad code in the world. There's no limit on how bad it can get. Is it because my greater than minus 120 would include 45? There is no greater than minus 120. There's a less than minus 120. That would be a mistake that would cause a problem, but yeah. Okay. So I mean, we haven't ever looked at what's going on. So let's just print out let's just print what value we return when we ask for it. See what happens there. Okay. Why are we querying that every frame? That seems bad. Like, I thought we would only do it if we get a message. So we're going to have to set a breakpoint there. That's bad. I didn't ever see anything but 0 come out here. Okay, hold on. Debug build. Start. So it's probably because we checked the validity before we see if there's a message. Evaluate if clause, per frame update. Oh my God. This whole thing is what we put in for evaluating the animation. Oh, it's because only Go. Because only Go used to have if clauses, but the whole plan was to let regular messages have if clauses. So we're firing now on these, which is not good. Okay. So now we're not spamming that. This is weird. Now we're not querying that variable at all. Probably because we're just never checking the condition at all. We're just picking the first rule that matches the message because we're not used to worrying about ifs on these. So if arc.message is equal to message, okay. Okay, if accept and arc.if clause enabled. Evaluate the if clause. Message if clause. Message if clause. Okay. So now, when I move, I want to see a print statement. Yeah, minus 179. Okay. Now the problem is, because I only modified that one state, we have to be in state active ever. So now we want a 90. Yeah. Oh. Except we... Why was the target angle minus... Oh, minus 90, right? So we've got our left and right reversed. So there's that. Okay, we are printing out the right values, though. I don't really know if I like the way this rounding is happening. Round to nearest is you add 0.5 and truncate, right? I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. All right. Wait, what? This should have been right. I mean... Walking 90 right is if your target angle... Okay, let's run, and I'm going to turn 90 degrees to the right. I want this to be plus 90. It was minus. Oh, right, no, clockwise. For some reason, even though I know counterclockwise is positive angles, sometimes I just get confused. So we're walking right if it's less than minus 30. And we're going left if it's greater than 30. I didn't have to restart the game for that. I could have just edited it. Okay. Boom. There we go. Right? So, boom. There we go. 90 right. Boom. We're going to 180 it. $90 left. All right. So this is working like a gherkin. So I don't remember what that did. Oh, let's go back and look. I think that's a thing that doesn't matter anymore. This doesn't matter anymore. So what this did was, you know, the game used to try to interpolate turning the game used to interpolate turning on entities, and the animation system used to try to compensate for that. And so the animation system would tell us which way we were turning. That's not really necessary anymore because we let turning be controlled by the animation system itself. So we really don't need that. So let's get rid of that. Okay. So we don't need that. We can get rid of that. Get rid of that. Okay, walk 2. So we've got all these cases where we've got these same walk rules pasted in, and I guess we're going to replace those all just by pasting, and then I'll talk to the animator about what the hell to do. Or maybe I'll just let him deal with it. Or I could add yet another feature. We could have an include feature. This even looks like a mistake. Why is he going to 90 right? Let's do an include feature. Why not? We're just ripping everything up. So what are we going to have to email about when it's done? We're going to say turning angle, or target angle, include. Okay, so I'm going to make this thing called We have a thing called walks with matching that does this. I'm going to say foot matching. And here we're going to say include walks with foot matching. Right? Or without. See, I'm doing the wrong things. I'm already getting confused because I ain't eating breakfast. So that's the walks without foot matching. And okay. This one seems wrong, so we're just going to say include walks with foot matching. And those generally foot match on the 90s and the 180. Yeah. So like that. Although I don't know. Okay. So we're gonna include that in all these places. Yeah, it looks like the same thing. Okay. So here, so this is a 90 left. Right? This is a 90 right. Okay. So this is going to a state running. Okay. That's a little bit more redundant and annoying. But is what it is. Okay, walking to active right. All right, is this the same thing? Yeah. This is walks with foot matching. So again, the little asterisk here just means we do the foot matching. That's the only difference between these two things right now. Oh boy. This I'm not going to try to decode yet. Like, I don't even know if we're doing that. Are we doing running? We do. We transition into running. All right. I don't think we want to do this. So running turn 90 left, running turn 90 right, turn 180. Turn okay, nobody ever does running slow. Okay. Okay. So Running turn 90 left, running turn 90 right. So then we need turn 180 left from right, time 0%, 50%. Blend 0.1. And then right from left, if we're between 50% to 100, and then we've got to do this same thing, which is annoying. Whoops. Left from right, right from left, left from right, right from left. Okay. So that was this. So we're going to say include runs without foot matching. Ugh. This one has different numbers. Include runs without foot matching 2. Hope I didn't screw this too badly. Right, are these the same? They look the same. Okay, so the 180 is 0 to 38%. And 38 to 100. Oh, blend 0.03. Oh boy. What? Okay, this is confused. The 180s are confusing me. Let's just do the 90s first and get them off. 90 left, running turn 90 left, between let's put the blend at the end, whatever. Okay, so we go to turn 90 left if we're between 0 and 38. And we go state active to walking left. If we're between 38 to 100. Okay. And then the same thing for right. Running turn 90 right and active to walking right. If target angle is less than -30. Okay, and now the 180s. Walk to 180. Dude, what was I even in the middle of doing? Oh my God. All right. Running turn 180 left from right. And active to walking 180 for some reason. Okay, and then we just duplicate this for these. Okay, something like that. What are the chances I haven't screwed this up horribly? Okay, is this even the same thing? No. Oh my God, dude, so much. Okay. We're at least getting toward the end. I'm going to sort of start at the bottom because we just have all this handling of walk messages that... You know, these are custom. How's it going in chat? No eye tracker today? No, there's an eye tracker. It just doesn't seem to work that well sometimes. Forgot to change the blend to 0.03 on the running. I don't remember which ones had 0.03s. Clearly need variable replacement in the includes. Yeah, but we don't even have includes that work yet, okay? Like, I'm just typing all this stuff. This isn't going to work when I'm done typing it, so one thing at a time. Are transitions also nodes in the animation graphs? Yes, they are. That is why there's so many damn states here. It was a state active to walking 180. All right. Like there? Yeah. I don't know, man. This stuff is easy to tweak later. And there's probably, like, honestly, there's probably going to be a lot of, well, we'll see. But the plan is that this will enable a lot of changes that will invalidate some of these numbers because we'll do things differently. But yeah, it would be nice not to arbitrarily change the numbers. When an animation ends, how does it figure out what state to go next? Well, there's a thing called when done. that says, hey, when you're done, do this. Or a command called when done. For stuff like falling, we don't have that because you come out of falling when the game says you do, right? Okay, what do I even do about all this? So this one is, we've got to reorder this. So we're going to say walk if target angle is greater than 120, less than minus 120. Okay. Walking to 90 left, blend 0.03. If target angle, let's not get this wrong, it's greater than 30. To 90 right, blend 0.03 if that. Okay. So does anyone else do this same thing that we can paste it? Not exactly, but I don't know why this one doesn't have foot matching. That we're just going to say that this has foot matching. It's probably unnecessary since we don't currently do foot matching on turns anyway. Do we want to change that, or do we want to get rid of this and just have one thing to include called walks and cut down on the textual spam? I don't know. But for now, we're going to do walks with foot matching here. All right. Make extra careful. Yep. Okay. This is like that, but with a yeah. It's got a different blend. So this is 0.03. This is 0.1, 0.1, 0.2, and I don't even know if that's necessary. 0.2, 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. That's this one. Shoot. Were those runnings on the right? Those were runnings. Yeah, so now we're up in this confusing place that I don't know what the hell is supposed to be going on. Okay, so this looks the same as this. Oh, and that's it. This is we're in the end territory. Okay. And I'm getting tired, man. I'm just staring at all this text. Okay, this is the same, except that we have this extra thing after. Oh, that's on exit. We have this extra thing that isn't here. And then this one doesn't have time factors on these. Okay. Well, let's do this one. Let's say I'm going to make a new one. Or run turning. Right, so that and that were in theory the same. Yeah. Okay, so run turning. So 90 left, 90 right, we know how to do all that. And blah, 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 blah. Okay, and then the 180s we're going to have to tediously duplicate. These are the 180s. So Oops. Let's line these up. Okay. Okay, so now this one I don't know. This one looks like run turning, right? Turn 90 left. Oh, the blend factors are different. All right, are those the same? They look the same. Okay. So run turning less blend is the same as run turning, but with 0.1. Sure. Okay, except this has to be, let's include this in this one. So that we don't have the mistake of putting them in the wrong order. And then this looks the same. Okay, we might actually be done with this part of it. Of course, we don't actually support include yet, so have fun with that. Boy, I was going to go make this a short stream and go get breakfast, but now we did this major feature. Cool, in my little animation system, I label connections between nodes with like animation end, and when an animation ends, I go through the connecting edges to that node and pick the one that has animation end. The connecting edges to that node and pick the one that has animation end. Also have neutral labels to indicate that it's the destination node is one I can go to if an animation state change is requested. I don't know. I don't know what that means. All right. So we now get to run our program and have, let's take out that querying target angle. Now we get to run the program and it'll complain, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, all over the place. Okay, this does not have any animation tags. Did I screw up running slow? Oh, Goblin has turning right in it. Okay, we've got all sorts of errors. This is great. This is so great, man. All right. It's amazing that this works as well as it does, given what I just did, and that most of the frickin' animation graph is not correctly loading. Like, some people would just ship this and not know that anything's wrong. I'm kind of astonished. Okay. He just copied the human animation graph to the goblin animation? What? Oh, because of all the charmed stuff? We're going to need a different way to do that. Okay. Anyway. So now we'll still have plenty of errors. Okay. So what did I do to running slow? There is no running slow there. Oh, but maybe Warrior has it or something? Like tries to inherit it? Okay. Warrior. Thief. Wizard. I didn't need to recompile there. Okay. State running turn 180 does not exist. And in Soko Dragon. Warrior. Whoops, why do I keep recompiling? It takes so long. Okay. Unknown command include, that is expected, that we're fine with that. These, we're going to deprecate this error, we're fine with that. State running turn 180, line 560, that's not good. I think that's just old, right? Like, yeah. Okay. What happens, since we're taking out that error, what happens if we take out the animation tag on active? Do we crash? As long as we don't crash, nope, we just don't get an animation on active. I'm fine with that. All right. So now we just have to implement include, and we want to let people include things anywhere. Okay. which case it should not exist when actually evaluating animations. Warning, nested includes are not yet supported. The reason we don't support nested includes is, well, we could. It'll be a small amount of extra work to do it, but we're just going to make the basic thing work right now. Okay, so post process. Oh no, let's parse the thing. Oh, that's in load. Message. Okay, if we get an include, then we just make an arc. Yeah. Error, junk after include. Okay. Otherwise, or still anyway, okay. Error. Oh. All right. So now we don't crank out all those errors anymore, which enables us to see these last few turning rights that we didn't delete. Amazingly, our guy still works, kind of, sort of. Like he's not, notice he's not playing his 180 animation like he should, for example. Because the includes just never happen. So we never get that. Okay, let's go to Wizard. Okay. Great. Now we have to do the includes. So in the post process, okay. If it doesn't have an include name, continue. Actually, we don't really want to since we are doing surgery on the array, let's be clear about that. And iterate by indices, etc., like we don't usually do. For I0, graph.nodes.count -1. Node is graph.nodes I. Wow, it's almost like C++. Okay, otherwise. To include is find the node in that we want to include. If that doesn't exist, then attempt to include a node named whatever, but that node does not exist. Okay. Okay, otherwise, so new data or new length is to include dot nodes dot count plus graph.nodes.count minus one since the include arc itself will vanish. Actually, let's not. Okay, no, this is stupid. This is stupid. This is more complicated than we need to be. Especially because later on, like this is not code that is going to run at run time, right? This is all going to be done during a build process, and then you're just going to load up this binary thing. So you know what? Screw this. Okay, for node in graph.nodes, and we're going to say new nodes is an array of nodes. We're just going to build a parallel array. Okay. For to include nodes array add new nodes it. So everything we're going to include, we just put in new nodes. All right. Now we say free graph.nodes.data graph.nodes equals new nodes. Lazy, but fine. Include name is not a member of animation node. Right, because this is an arc operation, not a node operation. Well, it's fine. Same basic thing. New arcs, arc for every arc in node.arcs. We're going to have to move this to somewhere else. Okay. Equals new arcs. Okay. Oh, this error message, we didn't do the names. Let's just remove the line number for now, because we did that via a special thing. So this isn't destination name, this is include name. All right. So this thing, so for everything in the nodes, we do the includes on the arcs. And this is message arcs. Okay. What's going to happen? Who knows? Who knows? Well, we didn't crash. Let's see what happens. 180. He included because otherwise he wouldn't know about the 180. Look. Look. He's just going back and forth. Wow, I get to go get breakfast. Okay, well, we have to run a test just to make sure that we didn't do something real bad. Look at all these 90s and, oh, that was kind of weird. It looks like I broke something in the surgery. But like I said, some things we're going to fix. Okay, that was wrong. Okay, if I'm in walking to active left, how do I get there? Didn't do it that time. I don't know, man. Okay, so there are probably some small problems here, and we're going to have to deal with those by the animator making test cases. Because I don't know what most, or just by fixing the obvious problems I introduced in this refactoring. But this is all fine because, like I said, or I hope it's fine, because like I said, the goal is that we're restructuring the way these animation files are set up heavily anyway to reduce spam, so big changes are expected. Okay. It's pretty good right now. So this whole thing, see how he went past the middle of the square and ended up on the side? That's not the animation system at all, I don't think. It's like a gameplay code that I have to fix. So if I turn around, he'll like pop to the middle now. Boop, see? So that's totally separate. That has nothing to do with anything we're working on here. It's like there's just an acceleration controller that aims you for the middle of the squares, and like it's got a problem that we have to fix. All right, so yeah, there it happened again. See that? He's way off the middle. Oh. All right, normal speed. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, let's test it to make sure nothing totally disaster happens. Any questions about what we did there with the animation system? Occlusion query already issued. No questions? What happens when you use and modify a global variable at compile time and then you use it at runtime? Does it contain the last value? Right now, the answer is no. We clear out all globals because otherwise, you know, when you run directives and stuff, that's going to have weird effects on your global state. So we reset those things. I'm looking at the idea of allowing you to selectively tag things as not resetting because then you could do things like initializing arrays at compile time or something. But you definitely only want that to happen if you mean for it to happen. How would the animator create test code? Well, he would just create a test case where he just said, well, he would either just send me a bug report saying, look, do this specific thing, and this is what's supposed to happen, and this is what's actually happening. Or if it's actually an error that I introduced by editing that animation graph file, he probably will just fix it because he would just see what's wrong. The animators use that text file right now, yes. Maybe someday we would move to a graphical representation, but not yet, because my goal is always to know what we are building first. So like a graphical representation would be for the next game when, you know, we know that we're okay with the animation system and how it works. After resolving constant at compile time, can you use it as an argument to another procedure called with run? Yes, you can. Yes. All right, it was pretty good. Okay. Big changes to walking. See forthcoming email. Okay. I just checked in a pretty big change that in the very short term probably breaks a few things, but should be good long term. I'm going to say some stuff, and then I'm going to say also turning left and turning right were into the animation files to help coordinate with the game engines. Turning so the animation and automatic turning going the same direction, since we don't do automatic turning that way anymore, these are no longer necessary, so I took them out. Okay, that's the easiest thing to explain. Okay, I just checked in a pretty big change. There is a variable target angle that gives you back an integer number in degrees describing the difference between where that entity is pointing and where it wants to point. This number will be between minus 179 and 180. The old Go state walking star messages are all gone. There's just one message now. I called it walk for brevity. The animation graph can make its own choice based on target angle to determine what to do. This makes things a lot simpler in cases where there aren't transitions for all the different messages. You can just handle walk and go to one place in those cases. Okay. Also, to cut down on paste spam, to include facility is a little limited because you can't treat stuff like blend times. You get whatever, like blend times, you get whatever the included thing says exactly. I would not try including things in that also include things themselves. You'll get this may not work as you expect, but if you want that. Actually, I think it's fine. What am I talking about? It's actually fine. I'm not going to say that. I think it's probably fine. I haven't tested it. Including states that also include other. In the process of doing this, I broke some stuff in the animation. Hopefully it's just easy to fix mistakes in the .animation graph file, but if it's code bugs, then let me know. The hope is we can do some more stuff like this to cut down on the amount of Okay, I'm just going to send that. Did I forget anything else? Nope. All right. We're sending that out. Well, I think that might be the end of the stream. We did some things. We made some stuff happen. And what next? I don't know. I don't know. I only do it on stream, right? I do it because you never want your email program up on stream because who knows what's going to pop in there while you're typing. Very simple Emacs mode for your animation graph file format. I can't do, no, I'm not going to install Emacs mode. I mean, thanks for making it, but so first of all, the main person who edits this stuff doesn't use Emacs, and I need to be aware of what things are like for him, so I don't want to install anything that makes things different or makes things more bearable for me that would be less bearable for him or whatever. It's just not a good way to do it. Am I still going to implement relative pointers that can point to a specific place in memory like a string table? We're thinking about it. We're thinking about it. I don't know. I feel like that might be a more general piece of functionality. Have I watched any Linus Torvalds talks? Not really. It's just he works in a very different kind of thing than me, so it's just not. Actually, I did watch the one where he was talking about how great Git is, and I disagree with him on that. I mean, it's not. Git is not very good for my line of work. I'm willing to believe it's totally the right tool for what he does, but he was like, he was a little bit so snotty about how good something is that I don't think is good that I was like, well, yeah. I don't know. What switches does the Razer keyboard have? I don't know. What do I use to stream? It's just OBS. It's just the same thing everybody else does. I have my bitrate turned up pretty high, but that shouldn't matter for text. Has Git still not fixed binary file handling? I don't think it ever can. I don't think it's possible using Git's fundamental model to do a good job with that. Could we benefit from a custom debugger? Of course, it would just be a lot of work to do. Is the string table generated by the compiler polluted by null terminators? Yes, because a lot of the time you want compatibility with C APIs and stuff. And so we have the rule that if you have a string constant in your program, even though our strings are not zero terminated, if it's a compile time string constant, you get a zero termination there. And what that does is it enables us to do implicit casting from our string to C style strings when you're calling a C API, which means it's a lot less cumbersome to do that.